Good morning. I'm Lindsay and I'm the artist behind the Native Flower Girl. And today I'm going to do a demo for you. I've been booking these workshops lately and there's been a ton of questions about how I make the flower faces and what the process is. And I feel like some people might be a little bit confused on kind of the integrity of my small little art business. So I kind of wanted to clarify some stuff today. Before I kind of do a little bit of a demo for you, I wanted to let you know that I basically just have this blank canvas here. As you can see, I've used it many times. And what I do is I arrange the art on the canvas. Nothing is glued, nothing is taped. So when I'm done with the art piece, I basically just swipe it away. Well, I take a picture first, and those are what I sell. The pictures are what I sell, and the process, the creative process, is what you would get if you signed up for a workshop with me. So to get going, I went out this morning and I picked some stuff from my yard because I would say 99% of the time I will use what's in my yard opposed to going to the store to buying something. You know, obviously there are those times where people will want something, maybe a custom portrait, maybe they want roses because it reminds them of their grandmother and they want me to create a floral face, a feminine flower face, if you will, of roses, you know, to remind them of their grandmother. And I will do that. However, most of the time I like to use what's in my yard. Very eco-friendly. I don't want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff if I don't need it and I'm going to waste it. However, if there is the need, I will go out and purchase locally if possible. So starting out, I went this morning and I picked some vinca vine from the side of my yard over here, which grows like crazy. You can also buy this in the store. A lot of times this is just like a greenery that's used in bouquets and arrangements. But it kind of looks like this. And it has the little leaves on it. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick one of the vines and you're just, here I'll pick this one here because this one looks like it's got a good shape to it because you really do want to think about the shape depending on what you're going to make. And today we're just going to make a sweet little flower face just because I love doing those and I feel like flowers are very feminine, and when I see flowers I think how can I creatively look at this and make this little sweet flower girl smile. You know, and make people happy. So I'm gonna cut this. You just get some scissors and you're gonna cut it however you think is gonna work the best. Again, art is very subjective, so there's not a wrong or right way to do this. It's just kind of what you feel. Especially when we're doing our workshops, there's not gonna be a wrong way to do it. Not everybody's is gonna turn out the same, and that's kind of what makes it fun. Okay, so I have 3 pieces here. I'm gonna just use this middle piece. So I'll discard those down here, but this is what I have left. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take these little leaves, and you can just hold this at the top, and you're gonna kind of strip them down like this. And you can keep these because oftentimes they really do make cute little leaflets. You know, there's these little guys here that really have a great shape. However, I do have this that I brought up from my workshop downstairs, and these are a bunch of leaves that I've collected. There's eucalyptus that just come just like this, and they have really neat shapes. So I tend to favor the eucalyptus when I get them. And then there's that one, but I'll give you a close up here when we get started. So once I have my vine here, I'm gonna just kind of manipulate it a little bit. I'm gonna kind of move it around, you know, make sure all the stuff is off of it or whatever. You can kind of bend it and twist it. You know, you're gonna go like this, and you're gonna get it to the shape that you want it to be. Clear your canvas off. All right, so we have a little bit there, and we might want to trim the ends off maybe somewhat. On the side here and on the side here, you can keep these little ends to make like a little neck piece. And so that's kind of what I'm gonna do right now. Even though those aren't really quite bent, that's okay. We're just doing a demo today. So I'll use that one. I'll take this one over on the side. And another thing that I did this morning was I went out and I picked a bunch of lime lights from the yard. I have some in a vase over here, so there's a bunch of those. And the other day I was on the local bike path down at the Rock River, and I found a bunch of cool goose feathers. So what I do is I bring these home and I wash them with soap and water and let them dry. And I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use those for in just a moment. But I also went out and I picked some zinnias from my backyard, and they are so sweet. And unfortunately, next year, I think I'm gonna have to order ladybugs to eat all my aphids because they're just eating them to pieces. but they're still blooming prolifically, and I'm cutting them if I can. Okay, so we have the start of our face here. What we're gonna do is for the, I would say the bulk of it, we're gonna strip our leaves here from our little limelights, pulling down like that, putting the leaves over on the side, and we're just gonna trim the tops of them off, okay? And we're gonna kind of start just arranging them on our canvas. So we'll take these, and you can even take like a couple at a time here and kind of strip it down like that, right? You're getting all your leaves off. And then so you just have this sweet little bouquet. Trim off your stems. Put them over on the side here. And again, as I'm doing this, I'm kind of arranging a sweet little hairpiece, if you will, for my flower girl. So I'm gonna keep trimming these until I get a decent amount on my canvas. And there's some bigger ones here that I chose to use earlier, and I'll use those as well. So once I fill that in, which, you know, will take a couple minutes here, I just want to talk to you a little bit about how I got started with the Native Flower Girl. So we all know COVID hit a while back, and I actually have 4 children. And my youngest was due to go into kindergarten, but I didn't want to send her because she had a late birthday anyway, and then we had COVID going on. So it was just a really weird, funny time. So her and I, she was home with me that year, and her and I would go out and we'd visit local state parks or local preserves, and we would just go down on the bike path. And honestly, we just started picking these little things up. We would pick leaves up. We really were picking up things with unique shapes, and we would come home and we would arrange like a cute little face on a canvas. And that really sparked some interest for her and I. It was a fun way to connect with nature, and it was also a really inexpensive way to keep her busy and keep her creative right brain kind of moving along, if you will. Like just she was thinking creatively with me, and we were both having a really good time doing it. However, I kind of took it next level because I was like, this is super therapeutic for me. I enjoyed it so much that I started to really think outside the box and try, and you know, oftentimes I used food. If I didn't have, like in the winter months, I would use food because I didn't have anything growing in the yard. I live in Illinois, and it gets really cold in the winter. So it just became kind of a fun therapeutic hobby for me. And as my youngest went on to school, and all of them are currently in school right now, I really just started having fun with this. And it's kind of taken off since then. I've done a few art shows locally. I've been selling cards and mugs and calendars and portraits. And I've even done a little bit of fundraising, making fundraiser cards, special pieces for people that really want to remember their loved ones in a certain special way. So, okay, now that I told you a little bit about how I got started, I have everything together here, and it looks like the hair is pretty good. So what I was going to tell you about the feathers is, so you're going to take your feather again that we found, and you know what you do for the eyes to make them very elegant and pretty, and oftentimes I just do this. I just take it and I strip it down like that, and you get your feather piece, and you're just going to kind of arrange it on your canvas here. Sometimes I do 1, sometimes I do 2, just depending on what feels good at the moment, I suppose. And then you kind of, you know, you're just gonna kind of put it like so, and make it look really pretty. So once you get that on there, you're gonna think about how are you gonna create a little nose? Well, you had all these extra pieces before that we took off from our hydrangeas that I am just gonna literally strip. Here we go, here's one right here. Strip one of these little pieces. This is just a little leaf here. And I'm gonna kind of place it. You might wanna cut it just a little bit, you know, make it really pretty, and then bend it. Like I said, you're gonna manipulate a lot of your materials. That's kind of part of the process. And that's the fun part, if you ask me. And then you try to find something that has maybe a little bit of a bend in it, right? So I'm gonna cut this little hydrangea piece here, and I'm gonna bend it just slightly so, like that, and I'm gonna put it right on the canvas. So she's got this sweet little nose now. And like I said before, you are definitely gonna wanna manipulate your materials. You're gonna bend and twist, and flowers and especially perennials are very hardy and thick, and most of the time they will stand up to a lot of manipulation. So now that I have that, I have my zinnias here, right? These sweet little zinnias, this papa color, and I'm just gonna start cutting the little tops off of them, right? And I'm gonna kind of place them in here like this. And, you know, kind of just fill in the spots on her hair for some extra color. So basically you're just cutting off the tops of them and you're just setting them on her sweet little hair, just so you're filling in some pops of color. And you're gonna pick your lip here pretty quick, which is from what I found over on this side that I have on this platter here. And you know, I want to make mention as we're creating this piece, and we're really almost about done. You know, people often ask me, well, why, you know, do we have to make a flower face? And the answer is no, you do not have to make a flower face. There's many times that I've made other nature portraits. I tend to make floral faces more just because, like I told you before, that's what I see when I see these beautiful flowers, and I picture that in my mind, and creatively that's kind of where my brain goes. However, you could do a name, you could do a sweet little house or cabin. I mean, really the sky's the limit. There is no right or wrong way to do this. You could do a heart. I've done an apple for when we went back to school and we were having like, you know, I was thinking about all the teachers, and creatively I just started snipping some zinnias, again, snipping little zinnias, and I just made them in the shape of an apple. So you can choose to do whatever feels right to you. So now that we got a little bit of a pop of color in there, I'm gonna add one more because this one is really cute, and I absolutely love zinnias. They're so perfectly round and just very cool to work with. And then I'm gonna grab one of my fun little lips here. I don't know what, we got this one. This one's kind of cool, and I'm gonna give you guys a close up here in a minute. Or we have something a little bit different, so we could do like a little bit more of the round. And then I'm gonna grab just one more of these vinca vines that I have down here on my ground, and I'm gonna kind of get more of a bend on this one. Oops, because I want to do that other part of the neck. And sometimes with the neck, I will leave on the leaves because it just gives it an extra. Actually, let's do that on this side too. We're gonna leave the leaves on because it kind of shows you where she came from. And that's pretty fun. So we got this one and this one here. And again, when I'm doing this in my workshop and I don't have a live video streaming, I put a lot more time into it just because I get a little picky, if you will, about how things look and how the nose bends and all that stuff. I mean, it's just, I've been doing this for quite a while now. But this kind of gives you a general idea of how the flower faces come. You know what? Let's give her a little earring here. We're going to do like a little snip of a zinnia earring like this. And maybe we'll do a different color for the other side because why not, huh? Maybe the same shape though. But she's got sweet little zinnia earrings now. So there you have it. Your first flower face. Exciting, but I hope you really understood the process. So again, once this is made, and I'm going to show you right now, just a little bit of a close-up here. See, so she's like, there she is, all of her beautiful hair, very cool. Once she is made, you are pretty much done, but you snap your picture of her and that's it. That's what you get. You get the photo at the end. So I'm gonna take all these little pieces off. I can reuse them if I want to. So I'm gonna take all my zinnias out because this is the process that I go through. Very eco-friendly art, very creative thinking. Again, when I'm in my workshop doing this and I sell my portraits, it takes me quite some time, but I wanted you guys to kind of get the feel for how this works. And take that, take my stuff over here, and I kind of try to keep it in the same spot just so it's not a mess. All I'm left with is a bunch of lime whites, and they're gone. And then we start with a blank canvas again. Hey, you guys, thanks for sticking with me through this because I feel like this was pretty important that I show you how this process works. So if you want to check me out at The Native Flower Girl on Instagram, I have a bunch of portraits up there. and also on Facebook at The Native Flower Girl. I'm Lindsay. Thanks for spending the morning with me creating a flower portrait. I hope you feel kind of rejuvenated and maybe you'll think more creatively today. Have a good day. Thanks.